So there's something that every developer at some point starts asking themselves. Starter devs specifically ask this question to themselves quite often: should I make a cash grab or should I make a more complex, serious, and meaningful game? There are a lot of ways you can go about answering this question because every person's context is different. Everyone's in a slightly different position. I just want to state my opinion on this. So what's the answer to this question? I'll answer that, but first, actually, let me tell you a quick story. A while back, barely 6 months ago, when I came back to game development after a year-long break, I actually started asking myself this same question. By this point, I had like 2 years of experience on and off, and I was wondering if I should make a big, serious project or attempt making a different cash grab, more like a simple game. So what did I do? I started creating a tycoon, a Jujutsu Kaisen tycoon to be specific, but I didn't finish it. Not gonna lie, that game wasn't looking too good, but what I can say is that I actually learned a couple of things from that project, like how to script VFX, how to do projectiles a bit better, how to pair animations with hitboxes, and a couple of more combat features. After this, I tried experimenting and learning stuff separately by making different base plates or experiences, however you want to call them. Mostly, I wanted to have some idea on how people make those parkour games, and while I didn't really fully learn 100% how to make a full-on parkour system, I learned how to make simple vaulting. After I learned this, I attempted to make another simple game called Dangerous Playground, where essentially a hunter hunts you down. His goal is to kill all players, of course, and the goal of the players is to survive using their surroundings and perks. And from this, I actually solidified my basis of combat. I learned how to do stuff a bit better. And while I was building this, I started working on a complex or big inspired Star Wars game that still to this day is very far from release. And something crazy happened a while after. Since I still didn't know how to perfectly script combat when I started making this Star Wars inspired game, what ended up happening is that I had to re-script pretty much the entire game. Now, what I want you to take from this story is that simple games or cash grabs are pretty good for learning. Everything I've learned is pretty much from making a couple of simple projects I've attempted to make. There's no doubt there. If you're starting, the best thing you can do is go for those simple concepts, simple games that are gonna be most likely similar to cash grabs, right? And you'll probably be there for a while. Why? Because it's gonna take a while for you to build your confidence up to the point where you can say, you know what, I want to try something more advanced or complex. Listen, bro, I was very lucky that I already knew someone that had been working on a Star Wars inspired game for 4 years on and off, of course, so they already have half of the assets needed for the game already when I started scripting the game. If you don't have the same luck as me, you're gonna find yourself having to throw money out of your own pocket to fund yourself your more advanced projects. And since you don't want to waste your money, it's gonna take time for you to muster up the confidence to even consider that, right? And let me tell you, depending on how complex you want your game to be, you might be looking at probably thousands of dollars spent if you're hiring different people to do different stuff. Well, actually, you could also do like percentage and you'd be able to save a lot of money that way, but at the very least, you're looking at a few $100s spent, which for a lot of people, probably most people, is still a lot of money. Hell, some people were saying that a 15 USD book that I recommended a while ago was expensive. I can't imagine what's gonna be hiring someone. Now, in terms of profit, this is where it gets tricky. Which games make more money? Simple cash grabs or complex games? And I'm not gonna lie, I don't have enough experience to answer this question truthfully, but I know people that have gone the cash grab route, and I also know people that have done the commission route, and I also know people that have worked in the quote-unquote serious projects. And to be honest, if you want to make a cash grab, the quality of your game still has to be very decent. So your builds need to be decent. You can't just create any trash map with a trash concept and add some sort of monetization to it and just call it a cash grab, because quite frankly, you won't be grabbing any cash. No one will play your game for longer than 2 seconds if that's the case. Your scripts better be perfect as well, and your concept better be easy to understand and also very interesting. So even making a cash grab, you'll probably still find yourself either having to split the profit with someone else to get the project done or hiring someone to help you out. But the people I've spoke to that have made cash grabs have said that if you actually manage to pull off, for example, like a decent simulator, you could actually expect from 1 million all the way up to 3 million Robux, which I guess translates to roughly 3.4k USD to 10k USD or something like that. You can do the math yourself if you want the exact numbers, but as I said, your cash grab still needs to be very decent for you to pull these numbers. If you have a builder, a scripter, and someone to do the meshes, you'll probably have to split the profit, so you'll be lucky if you even get half of what we just laid out, which is still good money. But there's also another quote-unquote problem that arises with cash grabs though. How the hell do you advertise them? I've tried thinking of different ways, but unless you already have access to a big audience in social media, I really don't know how you will market your game. Because think about it, you make a generic cash grab, if you advertise it in TikTok, people just gonna see your game as one more game and probably just gonna scroll past through it, right? Again, this is all speculation, but you could imagine something like that happening, right? Even if you go to YouTubers and tell them to show your game, one, you're probably not even known, so you'll be lucky if you even get a response, and two, realistically speaking, your game probably won't be interesting enough to make a whole video on it. Like, let's be honest, like if your game isn't able to create some sort of hype or interest in the audience, then the YouTuber won't really be interested because they will know that the video will flop if they do it. So then you've made this cash grab that probably took you like a month to make or something like that, and just like that, you didn't even see a penny from it. You just wasted time and maybe even money. On the flip side, if you make a more interesting and probably more complex game, then you're more likely to pick the interest of YouTubers or any audiences that you show your game to. It's easier, you can imagine that, right? Hell, the mere concept of a game sometimes is enough to create hype within some people. Also, if you work for some serious projects that have like decent potential, you might even find yourself getting paid throughout the whole process of development before even the game releases, and you'll probably be able to get a percentage as well depending on the deal you make with the owners. I know someone that's gotten both, and when the game released, he made thousands of USD fairly quickly. Now, if you're the one creating the big and complex game, then you're gonna be the one funding everything, so you're probably gonna lose a lot of money on the creation, and it might be very scary because you might not even know if you'll even make money out of the game or not. Taking that into account, I think the most logical course of action here would be to first either get hired for a big game and see how they do things and then just replicate what they did, right? I'm not saying copy the game, but rather their process of creating the game and probably some trending or key features they added. Maybe you even manage to network a little bit. Another thing you could do, if you know some semi-advanced devs, is just go percentage between all of them and just work on a big game while you're learning yourself. While you're doing your own thing on the side, just do that project with them, which is what I'm doing with the Star Wars game, right? And yeah, I think I explained myself pretty well, so I guess it really depends on where you are right now on game development. If you're new, simple cash grabs are probably better. If you're more advanced but you have no budget, then either getting hired or get together with some friends and just go percentage while also doing other small projects is probably the best thing to do. But still, keep learning by making different projects on the side, unless you're 100% sure that the game you're working on is gonna hit the jackpot. Now, I guess the answer to the original question also depends on what you call a cash grab and what you call a serious game. I kinda blended the term cash grab and simple game together just because of their similarities, but I want to clarify that some simple games are genuinely interesting and fun to play. If you make a simple game, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a cash grab, and not all cash grabs are simple games either, but let's be honest, more often than not, they are. This said, this is all I have for today, bro. Wait, no, actually no, I gotta say a couple of things before I end the video. If you're wondering why my upload schedule changed, it's because life's gotten pretty busy lately and it's kind of affected my upload schedule. Might as well tell you why. If you stayed until the end of the video, you're probably a returning subscriber and you might or might not know that I'm an athlete, a judo athlete to be specific. It's a martial art, but the thing is, I'm preparing for a couple of important competitions, including the nationals for my country, so yeah, I've been very busy training and planning everything lately, and that's on top of university, of course. And also, if you want a part 4 of making a Magic game series, then don't worry, it's coming. I haven't forgotten about that. It's gonna take some time, okay? But yeah, I'm gonna stop yapping now. Keep leveling up, bro. Be safe, and I'll see you when I see you. Peace.